Hello, hello. Thanks for joining me again today. I'm really glad you're here because today we're going to talk about an exercise and an activity that can increase the power and the velocity of your serves and forehands. It's also one of these things that's going to help people who have tennis elbow. Actually, it's going to help people who have low back pain as well and shoulder pain. But I do see this a lot on my patients who have tennis elbow. They come into me and they're having pain along their forearm here when they're playing tennis, when they are gripping anything, taking a drink of water, lifting a pan. All those things aggravate this part of their forearm. Well, I can dry needle the forearm, do some stretching, do some manual things, and reduce that pain relatively quickly. But like I tell all of my patients, we have to find out what caused this, what is the root cause of that pain, or it's going to come right back the next time you go play tennis. So all of my patients knows that this is a team effort, and their participation is just as important as what I do with them with my hands on. So I'm going to show you all today, and also these are friendly reminders to my patients about things you can do to get to that root cause of the problem. There are lots of different things that it can be, but I'm going to show you some really common things. So if any of you have ever had an injury or a painful area that has limited you in your tennis, your golf, working out, or running, then please put me in the comments below, and if you're comfortable sharing, put what area that you had your pain. And if it's better, let me know that as well. So on the last, well, maybe not the last video, but on a recent video, we talked about the importance of thoracic rotation or mid-back rotation. We use that when we serve, when we do a forehand, when we do a backhand, when you're driving a golf ball, when you're putting. Runners are doing this as well, and depending on your workout, you'll probably get some rotation there as well. So we want that mid-back rotation to protect our lumbar spine because we don't want to beat up our low back. So I hope you've been working on the foam roller stretch at mobilization and the stretches that I gave you. And so today we are going to move forward. We're going to talk about the hips today, but I want to make a brief statement about the low back because we're going to talk about that in the near future. But as our hips are rotating, as our thoracic spine or mid-back is rotating, the muscles in our lumbar spine or our low back are stabilizing our low back to prevent injury. So that's why it's so important to get that rotation from the thoracic spine and the hip while we're playing tennis, because we don't want to injure our low back. But we know thoracic spine rotation is important, but I want you to watch, if I'm serving the ball here, as I come up, the first thing that initiates that rotation is my hip. So right there is where I'm getting hip rotation, I'm getting my power and velocity, so when I hit the ball, then I'm not overutilizing my arm. If I limit that rotation, then I have to really whack-a-mole with my arm. And over time, that's either going to cause shoulder pain or that's going to cause some tennis elbow. So that's why we're doing this today. We have local muscles and we have global muscles. The local muscles get overlooked oftentimes because we learn how to exercise our global muscles in exercise classes, in boot camps, in exercise videos, because those muscles give us the look that we want, and they create a lot of strength in our bodies, but they are not targeting the local muscles, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you just have to look at what is your goal of that exercise. If it's, to look good in your swimsuit, then that's great. The local muscles are going to help you look good in your swimsuit as well, but they're also going to help you in your sport. So as an athlete, you really need to have a good muscle balance between the front side and the back side, between your local muscles and your global muscles. And you need to have good endurance as well, because you think about your matches, they might last anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, depending on who you're playing. And so not only do you need strength and proper movement and power, but you need endurance. So we're going to go through some of that today. I'm going to show you one exercise to do, and then I'm going to show you some things on how to train your brain to put that in your game so you actually utilize the muscle that you're working. So bear with me. We're going to do this on the floor on our side, so I'm going to tilt the camera so you can see the mat, so you can see me. Okay. So you're going to lay on your side, and you can prop up on your elbow if you want. Ideally, this is probably a better position because my neck's more neutral. My bottom leg is bent. My core is engaged, or some people say you can set your abdomen. Think about someone's going to punch you in the gut and you're just kind of bracing a little bit. You're not holding your breath. You still want to do normal breathing, but you just want to brace your core. Okay, so here is where most people make mistakes. You want to make sure you're engaging your brain with this back pocket area right here. It's on the side of your hip. Technically, it's the posterior fibers of the gluteus medius muscle. So we want to work that in a way that it helps with rotation of our hip. So positioning is everything with this exercise, and engaging our brain really helps pull in and activate the muscle fibers that we want. So bottom leg is bent. Your top leg is back in a little bit of extension, or meaning your leg is behind you a little bit. I rotate my foot downward and lead with my heel. So the very important part here is that you have your leg backwards, your pelvis is a little bit forward, and I'm doing slow and controlled movements, sorry. What I see people do, they're in a hurry, they want to get them done. So it's up, down, up, down. So on your way down, you're just letting gravity move that down. You're not getting any benefit of that movement. So I want you to be very intentional. Up, pause. And when I say intentional, I have my brain engaged, so I'm getting a little extra squeeze right here. And sometimes even if I'm not sure, I just pat that muscle a little bit to help facilitate it and just to wake it up. So I want you to do one set of either 10 or 15 reps. If 10 feels pretty easy for you, then go ahead and do 15. And then after that first set, I want you to rest 30 seconds. And then we're going to do a super slow set. And the reason we're going to do it super slow is so we can build endurance in that muscle. Our first set was not fast, it was slow. So now we're going to do super slow. So we're going to make one repetition last a full 6 seconds. So again, my pelvis is forward a little bit, my leg is back in extension. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I want you to do 10 of those. And then I want you to rest for another 30 seconds. And then we're going to do a normal set again. Now I want to show you some ways people mess up so that you can watch for this. As people get tired, they start to, their leg migrates forward and their pelvis migrates backwards. So now I'm still doing that motion, right? But I'm working my hip flexor. I am not working my gluteus medius anymore. So I'm not getting any benefit from that exercise. So it's just kind of wasted time and wasted energy. Another thing I see people do is they want to be so good that they're trying to get every last bit of motion that they can. Well, so when this starts happening, all I'm doing now is extending my back. And to tell you the truth, it doesn't feel very good. So this doesn't need to be painful. You just need to feel that good muscle burn. Okay, so abdominal, we're going to review, and then I'm going to get up and show you the other thing. But we're good alignment in our trunk. Neck should be down here. It's hard for me to talk down here. So I've braced my abdominal muscles. This leg, bottom leg is bent, and then I am in extension. I'm lifting, squeezing. My brain is engaged right here and down slowly. Now, if you're having trouble keeping your leg backwards and you just keep catching yourself migrating forward, then put your mat 6 inches in front of the wall, or your body is going to be 6 inches in front of the wall, and go ahead and move your leg back where your heel physically touches the wall and just slide up and down the wall so you have that feedback and you know you are right where you need to be. Sometimes that target is very helpful. Okay, so now that's for strengthening and endurance for that muscle. So now our brain needs to know how to utilize that properly. So you can do this at home, you can do this on the tennis court with the ball machine. I like to start at home first just so I don't have the distractions. When I get to the tennis courts, if I'm not actually playing, I like to chit chat. So I have all these distractions and I don't do what I'm supposed to do. So if you start on it at home, just get your brain trained to cue in those muscles the right way. And then you can go practice with the ball machine or with a wall, whatever works for you. So with your serve, when you are in this position, the treadmill's in my way. I can't do the whole swing. So I'm going to start here, and at this moment right here, when I start to come up, that hip needs to rotate. Okay? And then you can follow through. But that's where I'm going to get the power and the velocity is with my hip. And I'm like squeezing that hip. And if you don't want to do it the rack at first, put your hand on your glutes and squeeze. I'm squeezing with my hand and I'm squeezing with my brain to get that muscle to just really put that power in there. On your forehand, again, my treadmill's in the way, but right here, I'm rotating. And you can see I get rotation in my hip before I get it in my mid-back. So it's right there. You want to rotate all the way around. Get that pelvis level as you do that forehand. So I want you to practice those things. And the one I showed you today, it's not the easiest one. It's not the most difficult either, somewhere in the middle. So if you have a lot of difficulty with that, let me know. Either put it in the comments or send me a private message and I'll modify it for you and show you how to get started on it. If it's really simple, I want you to check your form, make sure you're in the right position, you're doing the right movement, and you're truly engaging your brain in with that glute muscle. And if you still find it easy, then let me know and I will give you a harder version. But that is really important for your tennis game. It's going to give you more power, more velocity, and more importantly, it's going to prevent injury or help you resolve what you already have going on so you can play tennis without pain and meet that long-term goal. But it takes some time to practice it all. So good luck with that. I'd love to hear from you if you have trouble, and have a great day.